Do I really want to though? That's the part. If I have all this illusion to lose, would I want to?
I guess I think the main issue, or not the main issue, but the main factor that pulls some of these folks is that they are loners. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Neil's
Yeah.
a loner. They were all hackers.
They
They just,
are.
yeah. So it's like they didn't really have anybody attached to be attached
Right.
to. You know, I agree.
That's probably a pre-requirement. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I agree. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't know if I just easily jumped it, but I you know me. At the same time, I'm like, new experience is a new experience. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna.
I don't know, but waking up and realizing, like, oh, you actually never met Joe, for example. Yeah. This was all a, fucking computer creation and whatever. And even if you, like, well, if you were to rescue, I guess she'll remember you because you were both on the same Matrix.
Well, there's that. There's also, I don't know if I want to eat that mush that they eat. You know what I'm saying? It's like
exactly. I want to eat my steak.
Yeah, so. That takes me back to Cypher and go, I know the Matrix is telling me that this steak is juicy.
Yes, I know. That's what I say. Yeah. It's like Cypher was the only sane person here. That was the only right choice.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't fuck with the status quo. Don't take risk. You just stay where you're at, and ignorance is bliss.
Exactly. You know what? I changed my mind, sir. I changed my mind. Yeah, I changed my mind.
We have to. Exactly. Yeah. We have to. We don't know the horrors. What are the horrors ahead?
It'd be the most horrific experience. We could be those early ones who get destroyed, in Zion.
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
Who says that we're the one? Well, no one's saying we're the one. So we could just be more fucking fodder. And
I have a blue sky over me.
Our sky's not scorched. I don't have to worry about squiddies. It's being chased down by them, and being cold all the time.
Yeah. I don't have to go to no.
The sad part is, if you really think about it, even the guys who are I got what you're saying.
The sexual rave, orgy rave.
Clearly what that was, but but no, the if you really think about it, even Neo and the entire crew of the Nebuchadnezzar, even they couldn't let it go because they were consistently jumping back into the damn Matrix anyway.
That's true.
It's like in their world, they were logging into Pandora. What was the thing called in Ready Player One? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the Oasis.
The Oasis. It's like the Matrix to them was the Oasis. They kept going back. It's like, well, shit. Then just stay. You know what I mean? It's like, just stay. What the hell? Anyway. Welcome back, guys. I don't know if you know, but
we should have made this a topic.
I know, for sure. Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and that, of course, is David, aka Dream Twister, and this is the real episode 324 of GG's Mouthful Podcast.
Well, hear me out. So, it's the Matrix supposed to be showing you how to live our lives? It's supposed to be the manual to reality? Is this the actual humanistic Bible? The Matrix is the humanistic Bible?
I don't think so, bro. I think no. I significantly, yeah. Because no one. Let's be real. Anyone we saw in the Matrix, was just wandering about the Matrix. They were just working. It was just a bunch of worker bees. I mean, that's might as well be. The Matrix is a fucking virtual beehive, and everybody plugged into it is a damn bee just doing their work.
Do it. Yeah. For the machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here comes the one, exactly. the tech version of Jesus. And if you think about it, and this has been discussed to death, so this is nothing new to delve on it too much. But what is the Matrix if not the gospel tell, in an electronic futuristic kind of way? You have Neo, or the one. You have freaking Trinity, which hello, it's in the name. You know, you got Judas. Oh, sorry, Cypher. You know, you got like it's like all the elements are there. It's like this movie cannot be more religious gospel than anything else. Anyway, let me just get it out of the way.
I actually forgot about that. Thank you, sir. We can't start without a GG.
No, it's always gonna happen. It's just we have to. People expect that already. It's almost it's at some point as you saying "Welcome back, guys," and this is Arnaldo, aka my dog, or saying "We're back, guys." It's like people expect that, so I kind of have to throw things up. I am chaos. I almost said chaos. My bad. Chaos.
We're here to kill chaos.
Oh my god.
Hey, that's a thing.
Chaos.
That was definitely a thing. Oh god. Are you ever going to, like, if it drops in price? Because I do hear that the gameplay is good, although the game itself, the story maybe not. And I also hear that the graphically is also very dated, which is strange for me.
It does look a little like this would have made a probably a great PS4 title, PS4 title. It doesn't feel like next or not feel. I shouldn't say that because I haven't played it, but from the looks of it and from the reviews that I've gotten them from, the things that they have, the way that they describe it, it sounds not like super next gen or whatever, but
that's what I've been hearing.
I guess I play games with horrible stories that are some of my favorites. Bayonetta says hi, by the way, and the story on that game was garbage. So there is that.
I was just curious if the game we talked about, for anybody who's not aware of it, Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. But I was just curious if we'd ever, like, if it just came on a sale, like if it's just a random sale, or even more better, if it came on a fucking PlayStation. If it came on PlayStation Plus, I would probably definitely jump on it just to give it a shot.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. If it comes in fucking PlayStation Plus, then sure. I mean, cool. At that point, like why not? How bad could it be?
I know, yeah. If it's not free, but if it's included with a subscription I'm already paying for, then how bad can it be? I agree.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time and you haven't already gone, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. That takes you to our Facebook group. And please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and of course we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic, crafting player engagement. Very good topic. I'd actually never even thought about this until you, Mr. Dream Twister here, sent me an article, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes that is bullshit in the game, isn't it? So we're specifically talking of the gameplay element of crafting in a game, generally in open world games. That seems to be kind of where it's always, or most of the time, at. Anyway, and to be fair, I can't really think of I can think of one good one that comes to mind, but the rest of the time they're really just, I'm thinking of the fucking game I'm playing right now, which I'll get into a little bit, where I'm just like, man, I just got so much stuff and I don't even know what to do with it. And it's at some point I just ignore it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is just bullshit. I don't need to worry about that. And then what's worse is later on you find out, oh man, if you would have crafted this, you would have got probably one of the best items in the game. It's like, what? What the fuck? You know?
It's also bullshit because I need to work in order to get the best item.
Exactly. And it shouldn't be work. I think that's or it should be work, right? You can't just put shit together, whatever, but it should be done well. And when done well, I think it can be very engaging. But let's be real, for the most part, it's not. So that'll be the hot topic for later on in the show. Sir, before we get into what we have been up to, I need to understand your desire, or not desire, your where are you at when it comes to noodle soup? I know this is
noodles.
random, but I'm just curious because I wanted to ask, and I
I
meant to
like
ask
it. I
before we
like it.
started the show.
We should.
But oh
We
well.
should start. We should actually have a segment just called the most random random thought or something, and just throw like a like a weird
A real
curveball there.
curveball. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, I love noodle soup. There's nothing I can think of unless you start putting like, I don't know, like sea stuff in it.
Sea
Stuff
stuff.
from the sea. I mean, yeah, I don't like seafood, so I don't
Sea
like
stuff.
anything that comes from the
Things that
sea that
begin
you
with the
throw
letter
in
C.
there. Things that really no. Yeah, so the sea, not the letter C.
Seafood. That's essentially, you start throwing seafood in there.
See, yeah, no, because I'm thinking like I don't know. For some reason, immediately thought of, even though it's not the same, like sopa de caracol. For some reason.
Oh, that's snail. Damn, I've had
No,
that, by the way. Actually, I've made that. I made that for
meal.
snail. Yeah.
Yeah,
I made it for well, it was snail is the actual term, but what the hell we ended up using? It was
pork.
no, it was kind of quarter, but I'm trying to think what it was specifically. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, my mother-in-law's aide, she is from Honduras. And one day she's always making stuff for her mom and just trying new things. And nowadays we have to blend it because she ain't got no teeth. But yeah, she's always trying new things. She does really well with her. And I was like, I just took one day to say, I'm going to make something traditionally Honduran. Honduran. Okay.
Yeah.
And so something tells me I'm insulting them, but that's fine. Yeah. And so I found that, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do this," because my wife loves soup, and I knew that we could do the same thing for my mother-in-law. So, and anyway, so it came out pretty good. And tenía corn, and had it was like a thick stew type of soup, and
and I bet it's delicious. Also, I have no doubt that it probably tastes great. It's just the moment I learned it comes from the sea, I'm like I just close up. I'm like, nope. No.
It's just funny for somebody who actually had fish with me. I don't know if you were just hungry or what it was, but you had fish and chips. Remember we went to the
Scottish fish and chips, though. I know. That's like grease.
That's more grease than anything
else. Grease. It was very well hated. Anyway, yes, noodle soups. I'm down. When are we going? Or when
I wanted to make it. There's a whole deal. I wanted to make it, but I wanted to make sure where you guys, you and Mrs. Dream Twister were at when it came to that. Because I mean, it's a meal and it's filling, but in the end, it is just a bowl of soup with noodle. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. I could get pretty. No, I mean, I know what you're saying because it's true, but just. I love the feeling whenever I'm having either soup or noodle soup or like just warm liquids
in general. Okay,
in general, just now I had coffee and it's when I'm happy. No, I super love it, dude. I'm down.
Okay, cool stuff.
And especially if you're cooking it, it's probably gonna be amazing. Or not probably, it's surely gonna be amazing. Unless you get too creative and
I was gonna say we'll keep it
no fish.
No fish. But yeah, I was just curious because I wanted to all right, so good stuff. I plan to make my own noodles, so I'm gonna work on that because this will be the second time technically. And just to see if
why do you create your own noodles? Are you making the pasta?
You take flour, water, and with ramen. This will be ramen noodles. With ramen noodles, you put in some what do you call that? Oh, baking soda, and then mix that together, and then it gets it a nice little bind. And then I have a thing my mom got me, one of those rollers. It's like a machine. You put it in, and it just rolls the fucking flattens out the dough, and then it has like an attachment you can make it, and you just put it into it, and it starts spitting out the noodles.
Nice.
Yeah, I just haven't used it yet. I'm just nervous to use it.
Let's go. Let's go next weekend and try it out.
I like it. Okay. Anyway, not to completely derail the show. I was just curious.
It's actually threw me for a loop there. So I don't even know. I think it's more entertaining than what I've actually been doing, which is just the same old. I'm still playing Horizon because it's taking me forever.
I like
And
how
it's
you
gonna
called
take
it
me
Horizon. I hate the West.
Horizon, I hate the West. Yes.
That was
I
hilarious when I
can't
read that. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't anymore, bro. I just
Why?
can't.
Just stop then. I
I'm
don't know what's making you
finding
stop.
like I am and it's not that is a bad game. I say it many
You say
times,
it
guys.
every week at this
I
point.
don't
Yeah.
want you guys to get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that the game is shit. I'm not saying that the game itself is functional. All right. It looks awesome. It's giving you a story. If you're down into the we have fucking our own chaos, just platinum that shit.
He did. That's right. Yeah.
He got the platinum on that. To me, just the thought gives me nightmares. Because I'm trudging on it, and I'm using the fast travel. Except if I have to travel between an area and another area, and in the middle there's a
Fog of War
portion that I haven't discovered, like exception. But I think I think it's right. I think you guys are right. I'm having open world fatigue already. It's there's some games that I just don't care about the traversal too much, or don't find it interesting. Or in this game, I have less problem with the traversal and more with the actual gameplay, which I'm finding very slow. Like today or last night, I finally got the mask that is supposed to allow me to go underwater. And I mean, fucking major props for the developers for making an underwater section worth exploring. It is. I'm not saying that it is actually quite good that you have the the regular world, and then you can just go and explore underwater. Though there's doesn't seem to be that many areas, for that. Not a lot of oceans turns out in the West, or maybe I haven't gotten to the actual West.
It is the
I'm in
West.
an area where I'm in an area that's supposed to be what Las Vegas is, and like from the looks of it, you won't even think it is.
Really? Well, I mean, it's thousands of years in the future. Yeah. So.
Right. Exactly. And I just this story is not really super grabbing me. I don't particularly like Eloy, and her story, because she comes up as a little bit of a jerk sometimes. It's like the NPCs are trying to give a story, and she's like, just get to the point. And I feel bad, because that's how sometimes I feel like people treat me when I try to, when I'm telling something, and sometimes I ramble because I try to put my thoughts and I can't put them, so my mind is wandering, so I start ramble like I'm doing right now. And sometimes people get desperate and they go like, just fucking get to the point. Well, she's kind of annoying like that, and none of that I have already gotten a lot of her the tree, the skill trees. And like half of the stuff that she has at her disposal, like I'm not using, because it seems like a waste. It seems like I could be more. Like, it's cool that you have this method to attack, and I'm not talking about traps, because I'm starting to use traps now, and they're okay. But no, I'm talking about attacks where, like, you throw you throw an arrow into the air, and somehow like 50 arrows comes down, to rain down. It's like, okay, well, that's the game. But I'm not using that, because I never find a particular reason, to use that. Like, a lot of the aspect that a lot of the element of the skills that the game gives me are not like, I don't find ways of using them,
utilizing them. How far? How many hours so far, roughly?
Probably like 24.
Jeez. If I had to, I have not looked this up, but I had to guess, you're probably at the halfway point of what the standard.
Oh no, yeah, I don't intend to. I mean, I'm not booking it, but I'm also don't intend to like do everything. Like if I find a quest, I'll do it. But if I'm not gonna like go out of my way to like grab everything and everything, because I like, again, I don't need to. I feel like I'm powerful enough already to take down whatever the last the last boss ends up being, and all I'm doing is just quests that are not interesting at all. So that's the problem. I don't want to just say bad things about it, but I feel like every week that's the only thing I do. I feel like the game has me hostage. I don't let it go because there's a part of me that tells me I need to finish it. Also, I don't want to feel like I wasted 24 hours already. So let's just give it the other.
You got to cut your losses. Yeah, at some point you got to cut your losses. You know what I mean? That's what I had to do in the last two big games. Persona 5 Strikers, and I don't remember.
Well, that's early enough. Like if I put. If I don't want to know that I am 3/4 of the way and I just couldn't give it that last push. If it's this type of game, there's some other type of games that I don't mind it because I'm really like I'm over it. But this one, I know that it has reviewed very well. I know that I'm supposed to love it and all that, and I just want to see it through, and it doesn't really mean that I am foaming at the mouth for a third one. Because believe me,
I don't think I was foaming at the mouth for a second one. To be honest with you, I would if it would have gone full. Because I still feel like it's been held back, and this is probably how I'm going to feel about fucking God of War as well. But I feel like it's being held back because it did have to cater to the PlayStation 4. And if you want to know the difference, really know the max that you can get out of the system, play Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4, and then play it on PlayStation 5. And then you'll know, like, okay, so there was a max you were going to get out of this to begin with. You know what I mean? And there lies the issues. Like, we'll never know now, what kind of improvement we would have gotten from a straight PlayStation 5 game. And I'm pretty positive that's why it feels like, it's a lot more of the same. And again, I also feel like that's going to be the issue with God of War. God of War, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure, story wise, because it is a continuing narrative, and the narrative was extremely strong in the first one. Not that Horizon, the first Horizon, didn't have a strong narrative. It had a good narrative. I wouldn't say it was a strong narrative. But the narrative in God of War 2018 was like really fucking good.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah. And so here I feel like that it's going to continue that, but a lot of the gameplay elements is probably going to feel, again, a lot more of the same. You know what I mean? And so, and again, because it's tied to the prior console, and
it feels held back. It feels like they had to make those those cuts, basically.
They had to limit what they wanted to limit the scope of what they wanted to do.
Yeah. This game could have been something special. And instead, I mean, it's still, obviously, Horizon was a good game that people liked and whatever. This is more of the same. You'll know if you loved it. I knew that I didn't love it. Like, I was okay with it, and I finished it and all that, and I was lukewarm. So I don't know why I was thinking this was gonna like be different, because it's really not. It's really not. But I'm gonna. I feel like I'm 3/4 of a way in already. Like, I'm gonna give it that last.
That way, but I have a feeling you're not. Just throwing that out there.
It might end up extend. Yeah, but that's that time I'll be so invested that I'll be like, well, okay, since I'm here. since I'm here. And also, to be fair, I'm doing it also because I wouldn't know what else to go into. Yeah, I guess now I do. Now that I heard you last time, last week when you were talking about Neo, which hopefully you're still playing. I want to give it a solid try on that one. You know, I want to go to play that. I told you guys last week that I destroyed my TV, and by destroy I mean like I did a tiny scratch in the front, you know, but still noticeable enough for me where I had it because I used it as my computer monitor. I was very close to seeing it. You know, I sat close enough to see it there. So I couldn't live with it. I bought another TV.
A whole TV.
I fucking replaced the whole TV, and I grabbed that one and I put it in my room. I put it in the alcove. No, I put it in the master bedroom, and it's fine because it's a smaller TV than the one that was there, which always looked comically big. It was an old plasma TV, which will make the room incredibly hot. You know, it was an old TV, so it was not 4K or anything like that. It was kind of bulky, and like I knew it was time to part ways with it. It gave me solid surface, but it was time to part ways. So now I have this one, and you know what? From afar, you can't see it. You can't see the scratch at all. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy. You know, my wallet's not happy, but that's okay because my heart is. I don't have to, and my OCD is also. So that's the one I'm using right now, and I bought a little like switch thingy that you can connect the I could connect either the TV that I'm using for the PlayStation, or I can send the signal to this one. So when I feel like just playing a little bit closer or on my desk, I can just play. And then when I feel like the couch experience, I could just press a button and sit back and nice. Play and switch it like that. And it's working pretty well. I'm happy with the outcome. That got me then into like testing a bunch of games with it, because that's what I like. I don't play games for the sake of the game itself.
Evidently,
I play games just to benchmark shit
or complain.
It doesn't matter if it's a console game. It doesn't matter if it's a console game. I'll still just test it, and that's how I ended up realizing last night that Horizon, when you play in performance mode, it brings the resolution down to 1080p because it fucking has to. It has to. But you don't notice it, and that's kind of cool. You know that you don't notice it, but now you know. I ruined the magic. So I think I put a bunch of things, but nothing stuck. I was just mostly like just fucking around. You know, I put Resident Evil. I put fucking Tomb Raider. Yes, Resident Evil 2.
God, man, why did you just play that shit Raider already, man?
I know. I put just a bunch of. I think I had one at one point. I loaded my save from Final Fantasy 15 even on PlayStation, just to see how far I've gotten. To see, maybe I should pick this up and get it done with. See if it can get me away from playing fucking Horizon. But no, it didn't stick, unfortunately. So I just played a little bit more Gran Turismo and then went back to Horizon. Yeah, it is very sad.
It is. It's hurting my feelings almost at this point, because I'm just
nothing else. I Stray came out and I want to play the game so bad. And
really,
but I can't.
Like really bad.
Yeah, I do. Which is very. I know it's not the typical type of game that you would think, but
yeah, dude, that's not. I mean, so Adam, from work, he played it, and he gave it a 10 out of 10. And I was like, whoa. I was like, damn. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, all right.
good.
Okay.
It looks really good.
And it's getting surprisingly really good reviews. I have it. It's downloaded and everything. I am not stopping what I'm playing. I don't want to stop because I don't want to derail myself again.
Oh no, that game will eat that game will take don't even not even for curiosity because it will take you away more than likely.
Oh, quick, yeah, absolutely. That's more my game than anything else. And so, but yeah,
that's the reason I'm not jumping. That's the reason I'm like, no, I gotta get done with Horizon. I have to for my own sake and OCD. I need to. Can't go back. I can't go to play. So I want to get, and mind you, I don't have PlayStation Extreme, whatever the hell is it that they're calling it.
Premium. Well, extra or premium.
I don't have PlayStation Prime. I have the the essentials, and I heard everywhere that if you had essentials, you could download it. And I'm like, and I still hear it. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's not true. No, yeah, why would you say that? I have essential. Like, asking me to pay $29.99.
Yeah,
which I'm not saying the game doesn't deserve it. I'll happily pay for it, but don't play with my feelings because I think that game even got announced like that. It's like, oh, and it's coming next the next month.
Yep,
PlayStation Plus. I'm like, holy shit, we're getting that. That's a day one, and we're getting PlayStation Pro. PlayStation. Nope. $29.99. Which, listen, I'll happily pay. I got no problem with that. But you're getting it for free. You already have it downloaded. You can be playing.
I know, and I haven't even jumped to it yet.
That's gonna be a problem because I was thinking that I'm gonna get a PC version, and usually it's not gonna be it's not gonna be free, but it will probably be like I could probably find it for like $23, something like that. Usually. But apparently the PC version of that game is not super great. It's good, but for some reason, it's the game is kind of demanding, even though it shouldn't be. Because this game runs phenomenally on PlayStation 5. It is the de facto way to play this game. I was looking at on regular PlayStation, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. It's stuck at 30. Whatever. It's still running and it is solid. On PC, you need an abnormally high power PC to play this game. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't. Even with that, you still have frame dips and drops and. It's not super consistent, and it's like, I don't think I've won that. I won that experience. This game is about it's. It's cat. Cats are very fluid in their movements, and that's how I want to experience. I want 120 frames per second cat. That's what I want. I will expect. No, I will not take any less. What else? I'm watching a new series.
Oh boy!
You remember how?
Wait, did you finish Hill House?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I scored it. Let's call it.
I think you gave it a 4. I want to say you gave it a 4 last time. Yeah,
I gave it a 4. Yeah. It's well deserved.
Right? Towards the end, right? It lands it lands the nailing. Dear Lord, it nails the landing. What the fuck is? Anyway, go ahead, sir.
It is. This is a series. Like I said last week, I was looking for something of a little bit of a mystery, kind of like I wouldn't say like hard horror or anything like that because I don't stomach those, but something creepy and cool and interesting and an interesting story. And this the haunting of
Hill House. Haunting of Hill House.
Hill House. Thank you. It gave me that. It was creepy when it needed, when it needed to be. It told a very interesting story. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. It's gonna be slow. It's not the type of, it's not something crazy or anything like that. It's a Netflix series, but it's a good one. It's a good one. I really like it. The Haunting of Bly Manor is no. I'm not using a different tone. I'm not using a different tone, even though
it felt like that. It felt like we're leaning towards it. I'm sorry.
It's kind of different. It is kind of different. Funnily enough, it's reusing a lot of assets.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
There's some actors that I'm seeing like, wait a minute, are you from the? Is this supposed to be tied, or is this a continuation? Like, no, this is a completely 100% different story.
It's an anthology. It's an anthology series. It's very similar to, and I wonder if that's what they were going for. American Horror Story, which was on FX.
Oh, right.
Which had 6 or 7 seasons, but every season was a completely different story, but also utilized a lot of the same actors.
I wonder if that's what they were going. They were going for.
Possibly, yeah.
You know how Hill House was like it had it. I wouldn't say elite, but it has some creepy moments, right? It has some scary things. Nothing major though. It was completely.
It was very creepy. Yeah, it had.
It was very creepy. Yeah. This one is a lot less of that, and a little bit more the mystery of what's happening. It takes place in the 80s, first of all, and it has to do, like, the main protagonist is this person, this teacher that she's applying for a job, becoming a nanny, basically an au pair for some folks that live in England, and so she moved to England, and she has to take care of particularly these 2 kids whose parent had died semi recently, and on top of that, they also had experienced the loss of a nanny that they had before this one. And it was all very tragic. These kids are very, it's like a 10-year-old boy and like an 8-year-old girl. Very educated kids. Like the manner in which they speak, they sound like, man, these kids are very high upbringing, very but at the same time, still being kids and, still getting, in trouble and doing their thing. But it looked like a perfect rosy opportunity for this lady to land this job into, and then hilarity ensues. So basically that's just a setting. That's just where it takes place. Bly Manor is this mansion, and it has it always looked like this old, almost like the old Resident Evil mansions that they'll show. They always have this look that during the day it's lovely, but during the night it kind of looks like creepy. Like I wouldn't walk down the halls of this because you can see. You can feel like the uneasiness, behind the walls and stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil anything, of it. Obviously, there is a very interesting story that doesn't really rely in just the spooky aspect of things. It's a little. I want to say it's a little bit, maybe even a little bit more psychological.
Okay. How many episodes are you in now?
I just finished episode 5 today.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm telling you, I never made it past the first one.
I just watched the first 5 episodes. My wife is finding it very slow because it is. This one is if you watch episode 1 and you feel like this felt very different from Hill House when Hill House started, like, yeah, this is mostly the pace of a lot of the episodes. So I'm still leaning more towards Hill House. I liked more. However, I'm not depreciating this any less. I think I appreciate what it's trying to do and the fact that it's still giving me an interesting story that I want to know what's going to happen without having to resort on that, like, super creepiness factor.
Mm-hmm.
Is
there's still a mystery.
Like, I'm enjoying that. It's exactly, there is still a mystery. Now, some of the things a little, like, you could, especially you having watched so many of this type of series, like, you can start piecing together very early, so maybe not projecting towards a 4.0 unless something like crazy happens and the next 2 episodes happen to be incredible. Like, no, it's nothing like that. I don't think it's at that level. But I'm still gonna appreciate the good acting, the fact that everybody, including the kids, they're everybody's phenomenal. The and of course that the fact that the story, it's my favorite it's my favorite type of story delivery, which is, it's literally tell me a story. If you remember from that first episode, there's a lady and the lady's telling you the story.
Yeah.
And that's how this series is presenting itself. It is a really cool story and you want to see it and you're hoping that you're going to find an end whichever way it ends up being. I love the ending of Hill House, by the way. It was cool. But I want to reserve, obviously, scoring
Final
for
judgment.
when I want to reserve judgment for now because I'm on episode 5. Good one to watch, Mato. You should pick it up. You should continue. I'll be interested in knowing what you feel about it. Even though, like I said, it's not gonna be as you might not find it as interesting as Hill House. Let's say.
Yeah, I think that could be why I dropped off. I don't think the first episode grabbed me, and then I want to say I was looking for something, and I was just testing it out just to see. Okay, well, let's see what this is. And since the first one didn't really do much, I was like, I moved on to something else. But yeah, I mean, it's there. I don't think I removed it from my list. I just left it there. So.
No, put it. It's very like your wife might be able to watch it. It's substantial. When I say they don't lean on it, I mean like substantially less creepy. There's some episodes where
that probably could be the reason for its downfall.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
You set a certain bar with Hill House. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I like just the story that is telling me, like, I want to know where it leads. But yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm not finding it that interesting because you don't get. I mean, spoiler alerts, I guess, for a haunting, a story called "The Haunting of," there are ghosts. Yeah, but it's not like that. They're not using that as much, and you might love that, you might hate that. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it for what it is. My wife, on the other hand, she's like, they're dragging this too much, and so she doesn't really have the patience for it. And it's true. It's true. Sometimes you do feel like, all right, like, we get it, move it along, Yeah, that's the only thing I've been watching. So, that will bring it home.
Well, honestly, I haven't really been doing much myself. I have continued to play. Well, we did also play, for the record, more Dragon's Crown on Tuesday.
That's true. And yeah, I was gonna leave you to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't have much to say. We just kind of running dungeons at this point. Looking for
in the end game,
whatever you're in the end game, yeah. And so I think we soon will have a third, because I think Dark is already caught up with it, and he's all about the TNA of the game anyway. So that'll be
good. Yeah, that makes me happy. Chaos, come on, bro! Like,
Chaos is not fond of this game at all.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah. And you know what? That's completely fair.
Oh, like, of course.
I would love for us to, for all of us to be playing it, but like at the same time, I recognize it's not a game.
It's not. It's not for everybody. So
it was for the price. There it was. Like, sure, you cannot afford not to try.
$4? Hell yeah, that was a steal at $4. Steal, especially if you do like it. It's a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, we played that a little bit, and then of course the rest of the week I've been playing more Neo. I am probably 30. Last time I think I was about 34 hours in, and I know that there's 7, or I don't know, but based on how the regions are listed, right? The way it lists the certain regions of Japan that you're going to, it lists each area, the Kyoto region, whatever. And based on the space that's left, it looks like I have another 4 regions. So I'm only I've only completed 3, and that's not even true. I'm not even finished with the third, so I'm still in the. So this is a fucking meaty ass game, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But I am definitely enjoying it, especially now that I understand the differences between this and the other Souls games. And I know everybody, especially Neo lovers, are going to be like, stop comparing it. It's its own thing. And it's like, I'm not really trying to compare it, but it's
hard not to.
Yeah, when you talk about a game like this, it's really hard not to compare it to what is probably the most successful version of it. Right. And so, but one of the aspects that I realized was, as you know, there's little things. First off, the key burst is something that fucking hell you need to do. It needs the key burst. Yeah, it's a move that you do when you finish a combo. So the key is basically like your stamina meter, right? So you have a key meter, it's a stamina. It's the same shit the way it works in fucking Dark Souls or any other ones. Like every move you do, every block, every dodge takes away from your key. Now, there is a moment where the bar goes down a little bit, and as you wait for it, you see like a part of that bar starts to go back up. If you hit I think it's R1 button, if I remember correctly, hit the R1 button right as it hits the top, you get all that key right back immediately. So
it's almost like a fast reload on Gears of War.
Yeah. So exactly. And so that's exactly what it is. The difference is with your stamina. And what I realized, particularly fighting later bosses now, is fuck, you need to learn that shit. That is not an option, people. You want to survive this game, you need to learn that shit. Period. Okay, this is there's no no getting around that. Once you do get it, and it's not hard, for the record, it's not hard. It's just making it a habit of doing it. Plus, I have unlocked other ways of getting key back, which is generally from dodging. And also from stance changes. Like sometimes I'll do a move and then change the stance immediately to go to high stance or whatever, because I know now that I've gotten in close, I need to do I want to do this other move and I can only do it in the high stance. And so that automatically gives my key back if you time it right. So I'm like, ooh, okay. So there are other ways for the record. And obviously, those are things you just unlock along the way. So because of that, it's gotten, I don't say it's gotten easier. It's just like, okay, I'm not, because man, I was getting fucking frustrated for a lot. So I was like really yelling at my TV. But then when you get, another thing I learned was you have different stances, right? You have your high, low, medium, high. And every weapon has different moves with all those stances, right? So if you're on high stance, it's going to use more keys or more stamina, but you're hitting harder. Low stance uses much lower stamina, but you're hitting much less. I am using the kusanagi, whatever, the ball and the sickle and chain, and I love the low because it literally just rolls on people. And I've noticed that even with bosses, they don't once you get them into that combo, they can't really shake themselves out of it. Anyway, and then the middle one, almost always, even with the other weapons, they're like almost like crowd pleasers, if you will, like to control this. Like if I have like they're coming at me and there's more, as with most Soul games, you want to attack one at a time. You really, you don't want to go engage in groups. But sometimes you trigger more than one. And that's where that middle stance comes in, where it's swinging that ball and chain like wide, you know what I mean? So it really just slaps a few at the same time. So anyways, it's a good balance. And I'm just like, now that I'm really figuring out, dude, this is an excellent fucking game, bro. This is really, truly an exceptional game. Something else that I recently learned, and now that I know that, is the dodging. If you want to do a straight up roll, you have to be in high stance. I didn't know that. I figured you do the dodge, you could just on any stance can do it. And it's like, no, the roll is in the high stance. Medium stance is going to be almost like a slide or a strafe, a fast strafe. And then the low stance has the longest of the just strafe or move out of the way, essentially. And I didn't know that. I just
launching yourself out.
Like literally, it takes a large step backward to the side, whichever way you're going, and it also uses the less stamina to do so. And it's like, fuck. Now that I know that, it's like, damn. I'm like, why? Because I get pissed that I'm fighting something, and I'm like, I'm trying to. I just roll. Why am I not rolling now? You know what I mean? It's like, it's because I had the high stance before, you know what I mean, as I was fighting, and I changed to low because now I'm dealing with something else, and it's not rolling, and I'm just like, it's moving. It does a dodge, but it's just a different kind of dodge. You just got to be aware of the type of dodge it is. And
do you remember like getting a tutorial on that? Maybe
no, because that's actually going to be one of the stuff I talk about as far as what I don't like. And I get it as a choice, but it's still one of those things I'm going to refer out. But there's actual missions that are tutorial missions. And I don't know if you remember this. And they unlock, you start off with like one or two, and you go to this little dojo, and it's teaching you the basics. And as you get into the game further, now I'm the third island, I've unlocked new dojo missions. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is basically a tutorial. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, kind of want to be doing that shit at the middle point of the game. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure there are more to come. And I get what their purpose is. At this point, you're learning more, ninja tactics or samurai tactics. And so it wants to say, now that you're here, you've unlocked certain things. Let's work on how to use them. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but damn, man, it's just an annoying thing to have. It's like, oh shit, there's a dojo mission. I guess I'll go there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how else you would have implemented it. You know what I mean? But unless you just throw everything up front, but then you just have nothing but fucking tutorials in the beginning. So I don't know if that would have worked better. But that's kind of a thing I didn't really care for. But the I don't think it at all mentioned that each stance had its own different version of a dodge. And I'm just learning that. And I'm just like, oh, fucking hell, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, no wonder I was struggling with a lot of, because I'm switching stances all the time. If there's multiple little enemies on the field, I tend to switch to the middle stance so I can kind of knock a few at the same time,
I don't know. I think
also
that's kind of cool.
Oh, no, it's good. It's just I wish it would have told me. You know what I mean? I think it's...
I'm sure which is you paid attention.
I mean, it could be that too. It's a lot of information happening, and I'm not even sure I completely understand the story at this point. And this has a lot more story than any of the fucking Souls games, so I have to give it that much. You
Yes.
know what I mean? It really does give you a tale, at least, And there was something else that I just realized that I can't remember what it is, but it's like I'm learning it now, and I'm like, fuck, no wonder I'm struggling with that. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. Um, Oh, it was from something that Adam told me where he goes, I thinks that the so I am starting to realize that my character isn't leveling up as fast, and as I'm going, I'm entering missions that have a level that is either equal or now a couple levels above me. Like
Oh yeah.
I probably grind a little bit in the beginning just so I can kind of be ahead of everything.
Right.
Well, now, no. And he's mentioning that he thinks, I have probably have to look this up too, but he thinks it has more to do with the gear level, not my character's level. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, of
That
course.
fucking
I
makes
mean, for all the gears that you're receiving, you're not changing it. You
No, I
say?
am. I'm constantly changing it. I mean, I'm constantly moving up on them, but it's they're not there's certain things or there's certain weapons that if you don't have a specific trait, then all these
Mhm.
you can still use the weapon. The weapon's not, damage and all this stuff for the most part remain the same, but all these little traits that are not colored, and you realize that you're not getting them. I didn't know that. So I was like, I didn't just see. I was like, oh shit. So this comes with this. It'll give me a boost on this. All right, I'll do that. You load it up or you equip it,
Mhm.
and it's not actually given to you because you look at it and it's grayed out. It's like, fuck, how do I unlock that? And it's just not clear enough to say, oh, you need to be, it has it at the bottom. And then I realized that again, it's like, oh shit, it has at the bottom the level I need to have. And I'm like, oh, well, no wonder I'm not fucking gaining anything from these things. But no, I am upgrading the weapons. But I don't understand familiarity and how important
Oh,
that is. Because if that's very important, I'm not familiar with any of these weapons because I'm consistently moving up on them. You know what I mean? It's like one of them, I was able to do a thing where you sort of combine them. There's a thing
mhm.
you can do. There's just so many systems in this game. I think that's another
It
bit
does
of an
have a lot of
annoyance.
fucking little systems that
Yeah.
you don't expect because, like, even though we're not supposed to compare it to a Souls game, when you start playing with something that looks like it's kind of like your
Hmm.
expectation. It felt like it was a little more complicated than it
Yeah,
needed
they
to
definitely made
be.
it a lot more complex.
Mhm.
You can forge certain weapons, and I have yet to go to him to forge something and have something that even comes close to the
No,
weapon
that's
that I
probably what's fucking
already
you
have.
up.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, if I'm already at a weapon that has 350, attack, and
Mhm.
everything you're able to forge has a max 300, why would I even care to forge any of that? You know what I mean?
Right?
So I'm like, am I missing something? Am I missing items that I should be getting? Because, oh, by the way, there's crafting. And so
Well,
obviously you're not the one crafting it, but you can get your blacksmith to do it. But I'm not entirely sure if I understand
that's
how that
crafty.
fucking works. And then there's something that allows you to carry or take a stronger weapon and break it down and use certain things so you can keep the familiarity of the weapon you currently have, um, which is good, and it also levels up that weapon, which is good. But damn, it should cost money, bro. I found one was like, okay, I got it, I'm doing it, and I'm hitting the button. I'm like, why is it not doing anything? 200,000 gold. I'm like, oh no.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I was like, nope,
It's
never
gonna
mind.
broke you.
Yeah. And it was like, so how often can I do that then? You know what I mean? And I'm starting to feel like a lot of these little bits almost require grinding, coming back to the level, replaying the level again, getting
Mhm,
a bunch of
yeah.
stuff. And I was like, I don't want to, I just want to play the level once and move on. So I don't know how much of that, how much not grinding will hinder me. So far, I don't feel like I'm being hindered at all. So I'll see. Continuing forward, I'll see how it is. Adam did beat it, and he said it's one of his favorite games of all time. So I'm just like, well, shit, I want to fucking pay. I want to do the same thing. Damn it,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, man. If you ever, stop hating the West, this game is waiting for you, sir. And
That
it
should be the
is.
next one. It's probably good. Hearing
And
you
it
talk
plays
about it,
so well, dude. Lock
yeah,
60. It's just beautifully done.
Yes.
On PlayStation 5. Obviously, I'm playing on PlayStation 5. And I have Neo 2 also, which I'm like, I'm not even going to open that. My son gave it to me. And I'm not even going to open that until if I can, at least get to the end, right? I mean, if I get to the last boss and I say, fuck you, and I'm out, well, that's fine. Then I can go to Neo, you know what I mean? Neo 2, I should say. But I'm not going to do it in the middle. So, but I am enjoying it, for the record. I don't want to make it sound like anything. I am enjoying it. It's just there are systems and stuff where I'm just like, maybe if I understood it better, maybe I should fucking sit down and maybe watch a tutorial video or something, just to just get an understanding of what I need to do with these things. But anyway, so that's Neo. I'm going to continue playing that. Probably won't have much more to say about it because I don't think I'm not going to see anything. So I will say that I am past the point that I was when I played the first time. So I realized, I actually made it pretty far the first time. I didn't realize that. I made it to the third area, 3 out of 7, essentially. And so,
and you were not having any problems with it.
No. Oh, I think I just dropped off of it. I think, and this was also, was it before? I wonder if it was before I even started playing Dark Souls again. Because remember, that was very recent.
It was way before.
Yeah. So was it way before? Okay, maybe that's what it was. But anyway, that's Neo, guys. As far as what I've been watching, my wife and I started a show on HBO Max. It is called The Flight Attendant. It stars Kaylee
with
Coco.
Peggy.
Yeah, with Peggy. That's right. And so it's 2 seasons so far. I thought it was just going to be the one. Apparently they renewed it for 2, so I was like, well, we just continue it going. I think we were only 2 episodes into season 2, and overall, this is a fun show. Basically, I'm just going to talk about season 1, leave season 2 out of it for now. Overall, it's a fun show. The basic premise is she is obviously a flight attendant, who has a major alcohol problem, like major alcohol problem. So she's Peggy. Yeah.
This is weird because you laugh when you say major alcohol problem. So you mean to tell me she's an alcoholic? Because that's not funny.
No, it's not funny. But this show obviously plays with it a little bit. So
you're right.
They're playing with laughs. I'm gonna fucking laugh at it. But but no, she has some. So she she travels the world, and she ends up staying over most places. Every time she goes to a place, she ends up partying with her friends and usually the flight crew or whatever, and usually ends up hooking up with some guy, and usually she leaves and moves on and next to the next city and does the same thing again. I think if I remember correctly, she lives in New York. That's her home base essentially. And so she comes home and she does the same shit and blinding drunk every night, essentially is what
wow.
Okay. And then one day she meets somebody and they have a good time, whatever, and she does her alcohol problem, and the next day she wakes up and he is dead. But he's not dead because he just died comfortably in his sleep. He had his throat slit, you know what I mean? And
shit.
Yeah. And she has no idea what happened.
Turned dark real quick.
It does. It really does go into some dark place. Even I want to call it a dark humor. A dark comedy. Okay. I will literally label as that. It is definitely. It's also a mystery. It's a whodunit. What the hell happened? Her trying to piece together through her fucking drunken stupor as to what happened that night, and then dealing with keeping certain things under wraps. You know what I mean? And by the way, that happened. Right. I think it happened like in Bangkok or some other foreign country that you really don't want to be found with a dead body. You know? So anyway, that's what the show is. It's funny in a lot of ways. There's a couple of characters that I absolutely love. The only thing I guess the only real issue I have is sometimes I don't know what feelings it wants to get out of you. It's just like, because like I said, it's dark. I guess because it's dark comedy, sometimes I laugh like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be laughing at this, But
I mean, you laughed at alcoholism like you started.
I'm just saying, bro, she is like como si fuera agua, like if it was water, bro.
Yeah,
like water. Like it's just sitting there and just like tossing it back, like, no, hold on, I need something. And then she pulls this out. She's just guzzling it like water. I'm like, damn, Penny, what happened? Anyway, that was my other complaint. My other complaint is it is Kaylee Coco. She's not I haven't seen her anything outside of this and outside of The Big Bang Theory.
She wasn't
And
that
it is
great in Big
literally,
Bang Theory.
yeah, this is literally Penny. The same, the
Yeah.
difference is, she obviously, this is HBO, so you're gonna get a lot more cursing involved here. But outside of that, it's the same person. You know what I mean? It's like I'm watching Penny after she left, Big Bang Theory, and she's out here. That's the only downfall on it. I don't think her as an actress has much range, and so whatever we've seen in Big Bang Theory is basically what we're going to get from her wherever she's at. And so so that's the Flight Attendant.
I was curious about how she'd be like as a normal actress, because of the fact of how even in Big Bang Theory, like, which is a sitcom, which it's a little bit, you could play a little bit looser with the acting and all that.
You could do. I mean, comedy is still comedy in the end. But I would love to see what other things she can do, outside of comedy, and because I don't know. Like I said, this is these are the two things I've ever seen out of. If she's been somewhere else, I don't know. And I'm sure she has. I don't know for her. I know her sister's in this show.
Your sister?
She's a sister. I don't know her same last name, Coco. And it was funny because I saw the name and I was like, that's not Kaylee. So
and also there's not many people with that
last name. Yeah. So we looked it up and it was like, oh, it's her sister. I was like, oh, okay. And she and Kaylee is actually a producer of the show. So it's like, okay, so she got her sister. You know what I mean? Basically, little nepotism here. But anyway, so overall though, it's funny, it's enjoyable. It's season 1. I'd probably give it a 3.5. It was it was pretty good. We enjoyed it. It was. That's the other problem that I have with it. But the problem, I can't say what that problem is without saying anything. But there's just certain elements to a lot of. I don't know how to say it, but basically,
I'll say it then.
There's just certain elements when things get a little. It's not fantasy, but it's fantastical. It's just something that you don't normally see in real life. And when you have that, it's like, okay, well, now I'm disconnected from because I don't feel like this is real. You know what I mean? And so that's my own personal complaint. Apparently, the show did pretty well. So maybe not a lot of people care.
Yeah, it must be, because how do you? I mean, it looks like how much can you extend? And I mean, I don't know. How much can you extend the idea of whodunit mystery between multiple seasons?
Yeah, and I won't answer that question either. I'm only into season. I think I'm in episode 2 of season 2, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. There was some other actors in it as well. I'm trying to think her name now. It's like Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez was in it. There's some good writing here as well. Not gonna lie, there's some funny ass good writing moments, and there's some silly moments as well. So I guess it balances itself out. But anyway, that's the Flight Attendant, HBO Max. It's an original, so it'll only be there. And the last thing we just watched last night, is a movie on Prime. This is a Prime movie called "Don't Make Me Go." You've probably seen this particular. Maybe there's the cover or whatever, because it's Prime is pushing that shit out left and right. Because it's their newest movie, and it was I guess it was at the Tribeca Film Festival and all this stuff. Anyway, stars John Cho from from Harold and Kumar. He play Harold. He is a father, has a teenage daughter, and this is in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but he has a fatal tumor, essentially. So decides to take a road trip with the daughter to just, well, again, I don't want to get, I mean, this is in the trailer anyways, I guess not whatever, but basically takes a road trip with the daughter to find a mother who abandoned them, and basically say, in essence, to try to say, hey, I know you abandoned her, but something's wrong with me. Can you please go, can you, and then she's 15 years old, something like that. This is actually as dire as all that sounds. This is actually a very funny movie. And it was bound to be with John Cho because he is fucking hilarious. Always loved him as an actor. The girl who plays his daughter is a gem. I don't know her name. Let me see if I find her name here. Because she's new. Mia Isaac. She plays Wally Park. She is a gem. The relationship between the father and daughter in this fucking movie is awesome, bro. It is crushing and amazing, and it's just really, really good. It just came out, by the way. This, I think, just came out on the 15th on Prime Video. So it is a Prime movie. So if you have Prime Video, then it's always going to be free. But it's hard for me to recommend this for you because I know you don't really care for movies that have that, the thing where a boy was like, okay, how's this gonna make me feel? You know what I mean? It's like,
it's like, I don't want to have feelings when I have, I don't want to be like sad or anything like that when I'm watching. A movie. Even though sometimes that's perfect. Sometimes I like it,
right? Sometimes it's needed, yeah.
See, if you wouldn't have mentioned that, I would have been okay with it. I would have been like, okay, I watched it and I probably would love it. But expecting it is what I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna be defensive the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, it's true, but it's also, if you ever watch the trailer and everything I just mentioned, it's like you kind of already know that's what they're going for. You know what I mean? And
it sounds funny also,
but it is really good. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. I think that was the other thing. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. And it ended up being way better than I thought it was. There is one aspect of it that I am still, which I will not mention here, but I am still challenged with. But I can't talk about it. Other than that, whatever that is didn't take away from the wonderful film that ended up being. And it's funny because I even went up look it up, and believe it or not, I think it's just under 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, man, wow, okay. I don't know what people were expecting or like that, but I was like, I thought this was a good film overall.
They probably saw the comedy, they probably saw the actors. They were expecting like a feel-good comedy, and it ended up not being a feel-good comedy.
Expectations can definitely ruin stuff. You're absolutely right. So I can definitely get behind that statement. But so anyway, that's Don't Make Me Go with John Cho, and it is.
You know what movie was that exactly? That I don't know. And you know this movie very well, even though I haven't brought it up in like forever, but it is a movie where absolutely 100,000 million % expectations can ruin a movie, and that movie would have been Lost in Translation.
What were you expecting? For the record, guys,
it was Bill Murray. So what do you expect? Fucking Bill Murray.
I took my wife and Annie. We went to see it when it was they replayed it here at the Anthony Theater. And
oh my god! Why would you be so cruel?
Annie and Jackie.
And, you left your wife out of it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what
you weren't that evil.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know what it was that led us to that. But anyway, the point is, we went together. I had already seen it. I was like, I love it, dude. They absolutely love the movie. They came out of there laughing, bro. So I was just like, okay, good.
Laughing.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, not that again, it's not a comedy, but there are a lot of moments where they were guffawing in the back. It's like, guys, what the hell? Can't take some people anywhere, but anyway, so I'm curious. For the record, I want to say that's all I've been doing. So before we get into our break here, what were you expecting? Seriously, I'm curious to know, because that is such, to me,
it's simple.
Such an excellent film. It's to me, it is
that statement.
Yes, it's
With
such
all
an
due
excellent
respect.
film. That's why I was so shocked. I was like, really? Why? What happened? What the hell?
I mean, to be fair, I watched it. I mean, I must have been. I was not a kid, but I was young, right? This is also, kind of a older movie.
Yeah,
not old, but it's probably what 20.
They're somewhere in the mid-aughts, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, and I remember I don't remember exactly what it was, but I might have grabbed a couple of Bill Murray movies and we might have been on a marathon or something. I don't know what it was, but it was literally expecting it to be something, and then we started watching. We started watching it, and it ended up being like something else. It almost felt even a little racist. Even it was uncomfortable.
There were definitely some interesting choices when it came to like they were making fun of the accents. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
right? Yeah,
that probably wouldn't fly so much today.
No,
but
it wouldn't.
But the reality is, so to me, I don't know. I fell in love with it because I was just like, these two people who are completely lost in their lives, like in their individual lives.
Mm-hmm.
He's been married for God knows how long, and they're just going through the motions of whatever. Their kids are fucking grown. And she is recently married and with her husband in Japan. He's out here filming shit, and she just tagged along. And she's kind of aimless. He's kind of just fucking lost and drinking every night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
and then they meet, and suddenly there's this odd, non-sexual, believe it or not, connection. No, it was non-sexual. I mean, they were very, just you can tell that there was a desire.
That's uncomfortable. Okay, so what would you call the relation? A daddy daughter?
No,
relation?
Definitely not. No,
like what the hell?
No. It was just it was definitely not that. I mean, role playing maybe, but no. Anyway, no. But no, it definitely wasn't that, and it was a little endearing. And maybe at the time of I guess my life, when I realized it, is like, maybe it kind of explained some of the dumbass fucking choices I made in my life. You know what I mean? It's like, well, maybe it's just sometimes you just realize that, you have to learn that the grass really isn't greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And and that's a lesson that I think they sort of learn, because they never really cross the line at some point. To whatever. But obviously they're spending time with each other. Well, yeah. So, spoiler alert for anything. Most likely, this is 2003. People, that's 19 years.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a line. Okay. So
this shit, if you can.
Yeah. But I honestly, has Mrs. Dream Twister seen this?
Hell no! Like I wouldn't put her through that. Are you crazy? Also, to be fair, if I had to put money, if I had to put like high money on it, I will bet she will not. Like, this movie will absolutely not fly with her. Okay. And if I'm wrong, like, I will be genuinely scared, because I will feel like I don't know my wife. At that point, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And nothing is real.
This is a simulation.
This is a simulation. If she comes in and tell me like, oh yeah, I enjoyed it, it's like, I don't, because I fucking did not. But who knows?
To be fair, though, in now knowing, like you and I, knowing each other for years now, and really kind of getting an understanding of your taste when it comes to films and stuff like that. Like, if you had not seen it, I would probably now go, yeah, you probably shouldn't watch this.
No, exactly.
You know, in essence, in essence, yeah, I can definitely now see, that was one of the earliest films you and I discussed, and I was just flabbergasted. But again, this is before. I mean, this is before realizing
what a
that
fucking mess I was.
You didn't know about the MCU until Iron Man 3, and then
exactly.
this is before all that. And I was like, okay,
exactly.
all right. Now that we have this history, and it's just like, okay, if that's why. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that outside of Lost in Translation, that is all that we've been doing.
Maybe that's what it was. It was something interesting.
Oh.
Arrival. The first time, I thought it was like, okay, okay. Like,
I remember the video you sent of your face, just kind of having like, yeah, I guess. I was just like, wow, really, bro? I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay,
it took a second view. It took a second view. You know what? You know what's fucking me up right now badly, saying it, and you know it. You don't know what I'm about to say, but you kind of do know what I'm about to say. I should probably rewatch Lost in Translation. I know.
No, I'm not saying that, because I also did say, in retrospect,
maybe
I
this
can
one
almost see, yeah. But I would still, it would please me so much. As your friend, as your bro.
Oh my god!
To hear that you gave it another shot. Now, of coming at it from a different angle. But I understand if you never do. I understand. But always think of Arrival when it's, and I've done that, for the record. I have revisited older films because I was just like, at the time, like Unforgiven. Unforgiven was an Academy Award-winning film. It was in the 90s, 92, 93. Academy Award-winning film. It's a Western, which I'm not a really big fan of Westerns to begin with. But I was just like, I saw that the first time with my sister, and this was back in the day, so probably, mid to late 90s. And I was like, what the fuck? Why was this nominated for anything other than the boring movie of the year? And it took me a while to understand what Westerns were. You know what I mean? And I'm still not a huge fan of Western. I don't go to Western. I would immediately attract myself to a sci-fi or fantasy before I would a Western. However, now that I understand what Westerns are and what their purpose are, that type of film, not including the fucking John Wayne craziness. I'm just saying in general Westerns. Then I'm like, okay, now that I have that, so I've watched some more Western films and realize a correlation between Western films and samurai films. That a lot of Akira Kurosawa movies, inspired a lot of the Westerns we have. And then we have a lot of Westerns that inspired a lot of Japanese films. And it's just this hand in hand. It's like, man, when you really see the connection, it's like, okay. Now that I see this, okay, now I have a different look at Western movies. So then I went back to watch Unforgiven. And while I didn't suddenly fall in love with it, there was an appreciation that I didn't have before.
There was some respect now.
Yeah, exactly. Now I was like, okay, I see what they're trying to. First off, it was the movie. The movie in itself was also mirroring the end of the Western film genre. You know what I mean? Because right around that time, it's like, yeah, movies are moving on from Western. And if you go back far enough, all movies were Westerns. It's like 200 Western movies a year were being released. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. And so, because that was just the genre to be in, and that kind of similar, because the character in Unforgiven was someone who was a bad dude back in the day, but he's much older, and now he has to do something at the later end of his life, and it's difficult because he's older. It's like it's mirroring that. And I was like, okay, when you have all that type of view, and you say, okay, now I have a better appreciation. So sometimes it does. Sometimes you go back and it's just like, yeah, this is the same bullshit I remember. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I would love for you to do that, but I wouldn't blame you if you never did. You know what I mean? Because again, in retrospect, I feel like I get it. I get it.
Maybe maybe not Lost in Translation necessarily, because I remember.
But definitely do Tenet. Weren't you going to do Tenet again?
Oh, I like, but see, I like Tenet, and if I watch it, it wouldn't be for let me try to capture the what I didn't feel you. It'll be more like let me fucking understand some of the shit that I might have missed the first time. It'll have to be it'll have to be something like that. No, it'll have to be a movie that it I might have not loved it, but it left me with something. It was like, okay, this was interesting. I know I'm supposed to love it, but maybe I don't. But that's those are the ones that are a better chance of. Oh, let me watch it again. Oh shit! No, this actually turns out this movie is fucking amazing.
Oh, okay,
and it has happened. The only one that comes to mind right now is the most recent one, which was Arrival, because I think that movie is, it's probably up there with one of my favorite movies of all time. Also,
I mean, it also works the other way around. Goonies,
true.
For instance, I remember loving Goonies. I watched Goonies a bajillion times. I watched it as an adult, like probably about 10 years ago, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, all these fucking kids are screaming and it's annoying and I can't understand anything what this thing said. And I need everybody shut with the fuck, just call the fuck up. And it's like, it was just, I found it more annoying. And then Chunk and then fucking the dude with, hey, you guys. It was like, oh my God, no puedo. I was like, what the hell was I you had to be a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to be a kid. Yeah.
You had to be a kid to really enjoy that. And so the opposite can happen. Big Trouble in Little China. I used to love Big Trouble in Little China. And I look at it now like, wow, this is utter garbage. Why did I like this? I don't understand. I fucking watched the hell out of that. I seriously watched that shit every day for at least a month and some change.
Shit.
You know what I mean? It's like, it just threw it on. I was like, this is so much fun. Fucking Kurt Russell in Chinatown trying to fucking, it's like, this is dumb, but I love it. And now I looked at it, I was just like, this is dumb. And I was too, because God, I don't understand.
This is dumb, and I was too. Did you say that?
Yeah, apparently, because I was just like, what the hell did I?
That she was hilarious. So, this is dumb, and I was too.
It's just, it was, So it does happen the other way around. I think when you get to a certain point, there's just certain cult classics or what do you call those? The guilty pleasures. Those are guilty pleasures you love, and you just like, I don't know why I like it, but I like it. You know what I mean? And when you go far enough, you at that point you just lose it and just go, nah, that was crap. I was just a dumbass for liking it. I don't know.
Leaving the Cube. It's still an excellent movie, all right.
Leaving the Cube is an excellent movie. And I did see that recently. That one I saw probably like a few years ago. And I was like, man, this is still good. I like it.
Totally holds up.
Yes. It definitely holds up. Leaving the Cube. Fucking Christian Slater, skateboarder, trying to figure out the murder of his brother,
his
stepbrother,
brother. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, that was a good one, bro. That was a good one. Yeah,
metal skateboard.
Yeah, dude, with those big wheels. Like, oh, let's just make it go faster. Well, that's what I want. It's like, I was like, wow, that was the cheesiest line, but I feel you, bro.
Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A young Christian Slater too. My God.
Yes.
Yeah. Dear Lord. Yeah.
Gleaming the Cube. Tony Hawk was.
Yes, he was. He was the pizza guy. He was the guy with the pizza van or whatever that was, and playing fucking chicken with the. Oh my God, dude, that movie. I seriously, I saw that like maybe a couple years ago now.
Wow.
I just rewatched it. I just found it. I was like, oh shit, it's there. Let me just fucking throw it on. I threw it on, and it's still fun, bro. It's still fun.
I mean, that movie needs a rewatch because I haven't watched that movie in.
Gleaming the Cube. Well played,
decades.
Sir. That's a good callback right there. Fucking hell. Anyway, guys, we're back, and of course, it is now. If you don't know what this is leading to, it is now time for the trailer of the week. Woo!
Yeah.
Trailer of the week. Whoa, actually, what is the trailer of the week? I didn't decide. To be fair, I feel that we brought up one of them before, so we'll make them both. Right? We'll start with the one I presented, which was
the one that I presented a contender before though, or did we just saw it as a teaser? I think it was. Yeah, maybe we. I don't think we ever consider it because it was. as a like I remember that we had a teaser. I don't remember anything of it though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know either. So that movie, which is out now for the record, it's out in the theaters as we speak. Is Justin? Justin, what the fuck is wrong with Jordan Peele's Nope? Nope. And yeah, and since we don't know for sure, we're just gonna fucking go with
but it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, man, that movie looks. I mean, like I said, this if I go to the theater, like if we plan to go to the theater soon, it's like that's where we're going. We're gonna go see that. That's
okay.
That's
what do you have? What do you have to do tomorrow night? I'll hook you up.
I don't know. It's a good question. Let me see. What are we doing? Let me see if I can. You know what? I'll plan that off the air.
Yes. We might have to like check this out. Maybe I don't know.
My wife, and maybe I can talk my son to watch Mother-in-Law, and everything would be good.
Yeah, we awesome.
But yes, it does look. It just looks fascinating. As I was mentioning, I'm pretty sure off air is that I really love films that challenge and bring something new. You know, and Jordan Peele so far, that's what he's been doing. And even though I wasn't a huge fan of Us, I cannot deny its originality and how freaking amazing it was, the visuals and how it was presented. Yeah. At this point, I'm in with anything that Jordan Peele is involved with.
Yeah, me too. I feel like this it's exactly like you said. It is going to be a movie where yes, it's gonna have a message. You know, the type of the commentary type, but it's gonna present you something that is unique and that is interesting, that is weird. And I love mysteries, and this one seems to to be one. Exactly what angle they're trying to tackle, like I still don't know yet. But if you
I'm not sure if it's aliens or spirits or who knows, but
I'm gonna lean towards alien just because everybody's looking at the fucking sky and you see like what appears to be a flying saucers, like and an old, the typical disc like saucer,
saucer form.
So I don't know. I'm ready to be surprised, and shit. You're absolutely right. This movie is already out, so we're gonna have to, if we want this type of movies, we need to
support them. We need to support them. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like this is the type of film that's what I want. And so you're right. I need to see it.
It's unique. Yeah. The other one that we have in contention, and we're going to talk about, because this was actually was at one point, it was the only film that we had as a trailer, was Dungeons and Dragons, which I did not expect to see. Like, I didn't know this was getting made, and of course, what took so long? And you watch the trailer, and the trailer does look like it's a fun movie.
Yes,
but there's something you said that strikes very true, and I want you to mention it.
Yeah, it feels like this is trying to make Dungeons and Dragons cool for everyone, and that I'm pretty sure whoever is the creators of Dungeons and Dragons are not interested in. I don't know for that for sure. I'm going to go on a limb and say they probably don't give a shit about this. A movie company came to them, say, "Hey, can we get the license rights to do a movie?" And here's cash. Okay, do it. You know what I mean? I'm sure the only reason we got it, because they're just like, "Hey, we need a product that people are big," and that by the way, has become bigger because of other recent major properties, Stranger Things, and it's like, let's do that. Let's make something that there's something there.
While it's hot, let's make something with that property.
It can be, as I mentioned, it can be just a blast and a lot of fun, which is what the trailer looks like, for the record. But it can also just be this really poor understanding of what Dungeons and Dragons is, and just fuck it all up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Visually, it looks. I mean, it's a lot of CG, so I mean, which is to be
Right.
expected, I guess, with these type of films. You do have some good actors. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got Chris Pine, you got Michelle Rodriguez. So you have some cloud. What's his name? Hugh Grant is also there.
I
So
didn't notice you, Kurt.
yeah, he had like a brief second right before the chest opens up and a tongue comes out. Right before he had like a quick moment. It's like, oh, that's Hugh Grant. Okay. And he looks older now too, which is kind of sad.
That's true. Yeah, that's I didn't notice it.
Yeah, but anyway, he, so you have some star power behind it, which is it's always a good thing. You can, when I mean star power, it's not just star power. You actually have people who can, bring a little bit to the craft, and so yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun, but definitely worried that it just misses the point.
It could, I mean? Yeah, it could be like I'm sure the creators on Dungeons and Dragons will, they will love to have this for the masses in the sense that it's just growth. It's just growth. They're gonna want that, But what I'm saying is, I'm not sure. Like I'm not looking for the Game of Thrones take on Dungeons and Dragons. It's not that, obviously the movie's going for a very lighthearted, very like fun theme, and it might stick to it. It might be a fun adventure, but the trailer, you look at it and it feels a little too hip, where it kind of loses its authenticity, if we can call it that, like its authenticity, just for the sake of making it, I don't know, fucking Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much, you're not wrong. And that's the danger, because so many of these properties are being brought into a different medium, and it's only because, on top of that, we got to make it, PG-13, because we got to make sure the biggest audience, and all this. And it's like, okay, well, isn't Dungeons and Dragons? People die. It should be a little more graphic, but whatever.
At the same time, it's played by most, by a lot of young adults, and you start. I mean, first time I've heard Dungeons and Dragons, I was in grade school, so at the same time, I kind of see why they have to, or they want to do it that that way. Like, I'm not faulting them for them. I just hope that it is the cool and fun kind of like crazy adventures, which I don't that like characters like Christopher Pike, for example, could bring actors like him, but I'm not sure if, they could also lean too much towards the modern and the hippiness, and that's not really what Dungeons and Dragons is.
And conveniently, the trailer also has a lot of good rock music. Not bad. Not a bad thing. But again, if you've seen Stranger Things and you kind of know, what I'm saying? It's like, feel like, oh, this feels directed at a certain, whatever. And it's like, is it because you're tempting, because you really don't have much behind everything? Because let's be real, Chris Pine is a good actor, but he's made a lot of shit recently, like crap recently. What's the last good movie he did? Exactly.
Star Wars. Star Trek.
The first one too, not even the follow up. So it's like,
like the follow up, they weren't not like
so yes,
so was one of them.
So. So that's the worry about it. So that one really is a wait and see. We'll wait and see what things are as far as critics and everybody else. Just
so
see.
We're going with Nope then.
Oh, Nope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's an easy Nope.
Okay, that's an easy one.
That's an easy Nope. Yeah.
Nope is the one.
Nope. And I will definitely check the calendar, see what we can do to maybe make that happen.
Keep me posted.
We'll do, sir. We'll do. All right, real quick news piece. It's not too big. I just wanted to kind of bring it up and get your thoughts on it. And of course, you may have heard earlier this week, this was announced at TennoCon 2022. The free to play fantasy MMO will be heavily influenced by themes of nature, restoration, and exploration. And this is, of course, from the makers of Warframe. Digital Extremes has announced a new MMO RPG called Soulframe. Totally new game in early development. Soulframe will deliver its own independent and uniquely immersive experience led by the creative and imaginative minds behind Warframe. Sir, where is your moist meter on this particular game?
Ew. I don't want to get a reading of it.
That is a meter I never want to
feel
touch.
A little not so fresh lately. No, I listen. Warframe is a phenomenon. It's a great title. It's a fun title. I've seen the changes and try to make it look more human and less buggy. And when I say buggy, I don't mean like programming problems with the game, but more like the insect-like characters, which I didn't really love. The frames themselves, like I wasn't in love with the design choices, but game always ran super well. Then it looked super cool, and then it looked expansive, and it's free to play, and all that good stuff. So I know the game has its fans, and the developers have been very fair with its player base. I haven't
extremely fair. I haven't heard anything, and they have an extremely big following, and on top of that, Warframe. So the reason I bring this up is after 5 years is when I actually stepped into Warframe, because I was like, well, shit, we keep talking about this is still a thing. I remember when it first came out, and it wasn't met with very good, with good reviews. But it was because it's early. It was a new thing. It was a new type of thing. But to say they turned it around, this is another example of, maybe not as bad as fucking No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky started much lower. They came in with a mediocre to okay review, and from there they just build upon it. And the content, bro, the fucking content of that game, when I opened it up at the 5-year mark around there, and I was just like, it was overwhelming. It was just like, I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. And of course, I have Chaos and Luna and Zibby, and they're all into it. They've been doing it for years, and it's just like, you guys are so light years ahead of me at this point. It's like, it was just way too overwhelming. Now, to see that this same team is taking the opportunity to do something different. This is a much slower game. Warframe is a very fast-paced game with guns and all this stuff. But there is some melee in there as well, but it's like super fast-paced. This is much slower type of game and a little more fantastical. But to be in early, like, okay, now that Warframe it's past me. At this point, it's like I'd have to dedicate a year of my life just to understand and catch up with everybody, and that's never going to happen. So, but to get on ground level, right, the ground floor, as this is being built, with this team, possibly could be a special thing. Now, I don't know. It doesn't say here if it's going to be free to play like the other one was. But
I was almost taking that as a given, but
yeah, I would think so
I guess
too.
It
They didn't say if it was going to be free to play, but if it's not, to me personally, if it's not, I would actually be more interested. That's just me. That's because when free to play comes with free to play elements, and I'm not always big on that. When it's a game that will come with a price, and then you'll have maybe some expansions, now you're talking. Now you're talking my language, And so, anyway, I'm just curious. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because of that. I feel like, man, if I can get in the ground level of something special, potentially special, based on their history, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's tempting.
It sounds like it sounds like it does have my attention, but by the same token, again, I'm not like super hardcore into into the world of Warframe, like in general. I played it for a little bit and I like what I saw, except with the exception of the actual character designs. But like I know that has changed a lot recently, and they have made it more human and all that. I've seen experiments like this with cool MMOs that are very incredibly hard to get into, and they kind of have like a spin-off project for them. I don't know if you remember, but EVE Online, like I've always been fascinated with that world, but I know that I'm not the type of player that I can't be an EVE Online player. Like that is the most least accessible MMO out there still to me. It's just meant to be for hardcore, too hardcore to play this game. Like no. But they released a side project, which was that first person shooter that they were doing, that they were also planning to combine along with the, like, it was supposed to be like an extension of EVE Online. Like, oh, you're not playing EVE Online because that's like a super high end thing, but you care about being a grunt soldier, and just point and shoot. We have your game, we have your style. And I remember it also came out for PS3, if memory serves me.
Yeah,
but then, like, as quickly as it kind of came and went, and it didn't go anywhere. I'm not saying this is what they're doing here, because this sounds more like it's going to be its own separate project that is gonna be based also on the same universe, but not necessarily putting it together. Like, at least I don't think from the announcement that I heard.
Okay.
Like, I didn't get that. Like, if this is its own thing, and you're right, if it's not meant to be, like, I wouldn't even mind it if it's free to play or no or not. Even though you're right, you probably have the trappings of a free to play game.
So quick,
but this company has been fair.
It did say at the very beginning of this article, meaning the free to play fantasy MMO. So it's going to be free to play.
Yeah. That's what they're going for. So that's fine. Again, they have been known to listen to their loyal followers. They I'm not gonna say they have never fucked up, because they have, but they have course corrected also, and for the most part, the vibe on it is certainly positive. So yeah, it might be cool to join and be one of the first, so we don't fall behind or anything like that. I just don't think I'm that type of player anymore. At some point, I'm just gonna drop, and that's gonna be it. So yeah. I'll give it a shot. I'll try it.
Well, since it's free to play, I guess I will too. But I'm hoping for something, a spark, something that I can say, all right, this will be something I can sink my teeth into, at least for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say maybe for a little while, because I don't see you as the type of MMO player that dedicates to one game. It's like it doesn't matter how good it is.
Life changes and one never knows, but no, the likelihood of that happening is extremely slim to nil. So, but anyway, so that's the one new piece that I had. So that's it. Let's actually take it into the hot topic of the week.
Hot topic
again, guys. Crafting player engagement, sir. This was your baby. So I'm gonna let us know what is your because I saw the thing was like, this should be a hot topic. I'm like, wow, okay, this is passion. Talk to me.
Well, I'm not sure if I intended it with that level of passion, but I do recognize that, especially in modern gaming, the element of crafting seem to be very intricate in a lot of our games lately, especially in open world, but not limited to that. And I was curious as to why, why does he feel like a lot of this game need to have some sort of crafting? And how is it that it worked in some games and it doesn't in others? And some of the better games out there have crafting systems that, frankly, they don't feel necessary, And some of the crappier games, the fun part is the crafting, Like I find it kind of interesting and curious, and I wanted to discuss that a little bit because I'm not a particular fan of crafting in video games, and I'll tell you why.
Okay,
right? No, I don't. I don't. I'm not a fan of repeating tasks or having to do a lot of fetching to be able to complete something. I mostly play games to get for the most part, is to get a story. Some other times I just like being in that, in that world and all that. But for the most part is I just want the narrative. That's the part that I enjoy. I'm not necessarily looking to live in this world and build something and have it be my creation. Crafting lends itself to a lot of that. Crafting is, you want to have the better weapon, on the game, you need to have these materials. These materials are always scattered throughout the land, and you have to look for them. To me, that feels like an artificial method it's like padding on a game just to inflate gameplay time. And the outcome rarely feels rewarding, considering the time that you spend on it. That's not always the case, but
for the most part,
for the most part, I've been playing a lot of games that have that crafting element on it, and sometimes I wonder, like, why? What was the purpose of this? I'm not finding if the crafting element is to experiment and come up with like original things that are not mentioned anywhere, that you just happen to, let's mix this and see what happens. And by happenstance, you happen to discover something that is cool and awesome. I'm okay with that. But when the crafting is, here is a schematic, these are the ingredients that you need, now go get them. That to me feels that to me is the part where I get lost. And a very good game that I was playing recently was of course Elden Ring. Elden Ring has crafting. Why? I don't fucking know, because it's absolutely not needed, not necessary. I rarely used it. If I used it a couple of times, was probably because of all the ingredients. I just needed one thing, you know.
I'm trying to remember what other than the arrows, because I was consistently crafting arrows because I had a character with a bow. But I'm trying to remember outside of that, what else did I craft? Hold on.
There was the thing that I kept crafting. That was the only thing that I crafted was the things that you will take that will let you not receive fall damage or minimize the fall damage.
Okay, that's right. Oh, the cookbooks. That's right. It did have cookbooks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of that cookbooks, ingredient, like anything where you have to bring ingredients and put them together to build something or to make something. Especially when that something ends up just being a temporary consumable that just disappears. You might as well just give me the fucking consumable, at that point.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah. You find the fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if the game like if it's a game where you play as an alchemist, then obviously you need to craft, right? It's like if there's a game where you play as a chef, you should cook. Yes. Yeah. That obviously, like, I get it. those need to have that. But if I'm just adventuring, throughout the world, and you need to tell me that I need to make my fucking bombs like all the time from like all different experiences, then I'm not gonna use bombs. I'm just gonna attack with everything else that have been that is more efficient because it's more efficient.
I did craft bombs. I'm looking at the list now of a bunch of craftable items. There's actually some stuff that I used to craft, like when I knew that, I guess it was upon necessity. Like when I knew I was taking on something that was weak to lightning, and usually a good game will have the area, preceding said fight will have a lot of these little elements thrown about,
kind of letting you know, like, hey,
hey,
be ready. You're gonna need this and this and this.
Exactly. And so because of that, it's like, okay, I would go in and look to see what it can create. I would say that the crafting in Elden Ring, from what I can recall, was quick enough, at least in the sense that it didn't leave me hanging as to what it was going to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because we were picking everything off the floor. Like anything exactly. That shine, we were already picking, exactly. So we already had the ingredients for the most part.
Consistently, that is true. And but the crafting menu was quick. Is another good thing. Sometimes the crafting menu could just be like, oh, you got to figure out what to put in. It's like, no, here's what you have. Here's what you can make. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, that was it. I was like,
but it almost undermines the whole point of like crafting something, because all you're doing is just grabbing materials and clicking on a button to make it. And at that point, like why just not give me the item already? From like, I get it. Maybe you don't find a perfectly bottled potion in the middle of the forest. Like, I get that. Sure. That's okay for gameplay elements. Okay. I'm okay with that type of crafting. But if you're telling me that I need, if I want to get this weapon, I need to do all this menial task of going out there and just grabbing stones from here and grabbing this type of metal from there, and or make sure that, I gotta have this ingredient that drops rarely from this incredibly tough boss or whatever, and I need to do it repeatedly.
Oh, that's annoying.
Because otherwise, because he's not gonna always give it to me. I need to be lucky enough to get it. It's like that. And that's what I'm saying. And I can. There's some video games that lend themselves perfectly to having crafting. Minecraft, bro. I know you don't play Minecraft, but Minecraft is crafting. You are literally you're dropping. You're drop. I don't buy the name right, and you know the funny thing is I didn't get that. I didn't think of that. It is, you're literally thrown into this world, and you have nothing. You build your tools, and then with your tools, you're chopping wood and getting sand and grabbing, mud or whatever, and just putting stuff together, and that's good, and that's fun, and that is crafting with a purpose. A lot of games that claim to have crafting is just grab the shiny thing off the floor that you might, it's almost like hoarding. It's almost like hoarding. Just grab it because it's there. It's shining. You don't need it. You don't know what the fuck it is, but hell, it's shining, and you don't have any limitations on the stuff that you can grab. So just go at it. At some point, the game will reveal what it may or may not be for, and then you put it together. And and that to me feels, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like it's something that a character, that my character, especially if I'm role playing a character, it doesn't feel like something logical to do, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I roleplay too hardcore. Some games, like if I'm playing like I don't care what type of game. It doesn't need to be a role playing game, but let's say if it's raining, my character isn't getting wet. My character is gonna go towards, or he's either gonna wait out the rain or it's gonna go towards the area where it's least rain. So if that means going to the dangerous cavern, then by God, we're going to the caverns. But she will need, he or she will be grabbing like whatever is shining on the floor. It's like, oh, I don't know what this is. It's those fungus. Like, I don't know why I need it, but it must be a crafting element of some sort. So let me just grab it because at some point, I might be able to make a nuclear device with it. I don't know.
So I have a question. First of all, two questions. First one, does Horizon I Hate the West include crafting?
It does. Remember, you're upgrading. Well, I guess if you're upgrading, that's something else. But you craft your traps. You craft potions. You can actually craft food. Like you can have a person cook you meals to where when you take them, it gives you like a certain type of boost. Okay. But in order for that to happen, you need to bring them the specific ingredients, and whatnot.
So you don't do the crafting; you're bringing it to someone who crafts it for you.
But that to me is still craft. Like it doesn't matter. Like if I'm bringing it to someone or going towards towards a forge, for example, like that to me it's still crafting. Whether I do it on the field or I bring it someplace. So it's not too overt though. You're not crafting everything. Your weapons they need to drop, or for the most part, not drop. They don't drop. You buy them basically. What game has some interesting crafting, even if the menu wasn't like super spectacular? The Witcher 3. And the Witcher games
The Witcher 3's crafting to me was, I don't know, I've actually found it fascinating.
It was because it was it was not predetermined. I mean, it was always predetermined because obviously it's programmed. But you could experiment with the crafting and come up with different type of potions and whatnot.
Oh, that was my favorite part, dude. There was something very, so just real quick, going back to the movie I was talking about, the outfit real quick, there was something about how he was so dedicated to his craft and every little thing that he did. And that's kind of what I also love about when I cook these random stuff where it's like, I got to make sure I do this. I got to make sure I have all these little things. That's kind of the same mentality I had when I was playing The Witcher 3, and I would do a hunt.
You wanted to be a craft man.
I wanted to. Well, I'm saying when I was doing a hunt, it was like, okay, I need to learn about this animal and then or creature or whatever it is. And when I did, I would always bring up the bestiary, learn what it is. Like, okay, I need this. Let's get those stuff. And I would desire to go into this hunt with the you don't need to, for the record. You can go into any hunt and just go in, sword swinging with nothing. But although that's not true, there are certain ones that you really kind of have to have certain things. But I love the whole aspect of it. It's like it felt like everything. It felt like it just made sense. Like I would need to have this specific oil that I can put onto the blade so that it would give me an advantage against this thing. And I also had to take this one potion that would alter how I can see so that I can see it better. Or, all these weird things. Yes. It's like, that was absolutely fascinating to me, bro. I don't know why that just, it got me, bro. It really got me all into it.
That is crafting with a purpose.
That is okay. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, so I don't know. It makes sense now. Yeah, crafting with a purpose. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
You're experimenting. You're actually. I mean, yes, the game will tell you, oh, put X and Y and you get Z or whatever. Like the game will give you formulas, but also you are encouraged to try, different things and in interesting ways also, because there could be some other ways where, yes, the game allows you to, or gives you the impression like you are experimenting, but the outcome is almost like still the same shit. You just wasted more materials, but you still got the same shit. Like Final Fantasy 15 is that with its magics, which you have to craft. You have to put together for some unknown reason. You can't just, you have swords that you can throw in the air and then appear where the sword lands. Yes, but magic you need to craft for some reason. Anyway, it was that. It was like, oh, do I use a little bit of fire, of wind element, or do I use a lot of it? And I combine it with this item, and then I get the particular magic. It's like, oh no, it doesn't matter whether you use a little or a lot. You might end up either with the same or maybe a little bit more powerful version of the same shit that you were getting. So it was not super interesting. The Witcher has cool elements, and also it went well with the type of character you were role playing. Obviously he's all about the he's sort of an alchemist himself when you think about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's mixing he knows the ingredients, and he's mixing potions, and he drinks them so he can gain the.
I always thought of him
powers.
as a or not just him, but not just Geralt, but basically the witches in general, as jack of all trades when it came to everything outside of combat. In combat, they were the best, you know what I mean? But everything else is they pulled it, like they also knew magic, right? So that you can have the Igni and you can have the other stuff, but it wasn't sorcery to the point of the sorcerers.
No.
But it was just enough to get you by with certain things.
Yeah.
Which I always found cool. Dude, Witcher 3, bro. Damn, that game is fucking good.
That game is
it's
that game is fucking great.
Yeah.
What you think? Like, do you remember, like, how was now that you mention it, how was the crafting in Cyberpunk?
Ooh, that's a great question.
You played Cyberpunk.
I did play Cyberpunk. And
so
I'm trying to think of what the hell did I ever. I don't think I ever crafted anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I ever crafted anything.
It's there.
Or maybe it was there, and it just I never. Like right now, there's crafting in Neo, and it's sort of crafting. Like you have to bring it to the smithy.
There's crafting in everything.
At this point, you have to bring it to the smithy, and I'm just like, I don't have the right metals, or the metal's not the right level. It's a lot, but I don't recall. I'm trying to think if I ever crafted anything at all. No, I don't think I ever crafted anything at all. I bought everything.
I wonder if because who knows? It could have been an interesting take where you were building like unique weaponry, for example. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like most games doesn't really need them, or when they're put there, they're so arbitrary that you're like it feels like unnecessary work. I'm thinking now.
Oh no, dude! I never touched it. I'm looking at it. I just brought up a screen. I was just like, yeah, I remember this, and I never fucking touched it. Never did, because it was the what I was getting in the end never lived up to what I already had. Why would I want to craft something and put together something again that has 105 DPS? And my current weapons are, 125, 130. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm crafting.
Oh, maybe you weren't sell it. Maybe you weren't designed to be the craft. Maybe a person dedicated to crafting proper
that
would have made that.
Yeah, my particular. Yeah. You're right. The role that I was playing was definitely not. I was more of a hacker and everything else. You're absolutely right. There is an actual storyline or trait that you can fucking pick up in there that is more crafting, and I just makes it more my shit was probably. So that was different. I tell you, I was a net runner pistolera. It was I was like, it was all pistols. I had a rifle and shotgun as needed, but pistols, boy, don't get, a 6-shooter can take out enough folks for me, while the fucking rifles and shit not so much. But yes, there was crafting, and because my specific V did not have, like, I wasn't unlocking any elements of crafting when it came to the things the unlocks, the ability unlocks. I never even touched the menu. So how about that? Which I guess is fine, right? I was able to still go the route I wanted.
Yeah, you still whatever you didn't craft, you bought.
Yeah,
it's like in real life. It's like, hey, you could be a great carpenter or stole. Yeah, you could be a great woodsmith and build a chair for yourself, and be the most amazing, comfortable, like perfectly designed chair. Or you can decide not to be and just buy a particular, run of the mill chair that will do the work, or a really good quality one, but you just pay for it. I almost see it like that, except in games where buying the materials costs as much, is not more than than buying the fucking quality material. At that point, it's like, well, fuck this shit. You feel like a good game. Let's say the game is a multiplayer, and you want to build. If you want to dedicate yourself, play the role of a very good crafter, and you craft the coolest weapons and the best things, and then you can sell it. That could be cool, or you can decide to not be the crafter and just spend a shit ton of money or gold or credits or whatever and just buy the super cool shit that someone else did. I think WoW had that. World of Warcraft.
I would say. I was gonna say, going back real quick to Witcher before we move on from that, I will say one of the coolest things you can craft, and the way it was presented to you, was the armors from the school, from the different schools that were the different Witcher schools.
Oh, right, yes.
I always thought those were so, because you were given like almost like blueprints on how to whatever, and then you needed to take that to the correct person, right? Because obviously Geralt was not someone who could just put that shit together. He needed an armor to actually do it, but you got to do it with the right person. Yeah, and that was cool. When you got that, it was the reward was excellent. I remember really being extremely pleased and satisfied with just, I found the feline cat armor. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And the stats on it were always a huge jump to anything you can fucking procure or buy or anything like that. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then you eventually run into another school. You go, oh shit, I wonder if something's here. Well, let's take a look. And suddenly you're exploring because you're feeling, oh, there's got to be something here, right? And you find it. It's another schematic, and it's the carrot at the, you know what I'm saying, when you can present it well enough where it's the carrot at the end of the stick. Dude, I would get lost in those places. I gotta find it. It's here somewhere. It's and the reward in the end was, see, that's the difference, right? It's like when you can craft shit and that shit becomes way better than what you have, then that makes crafting much more desirable. But if I'm crafting shit that doesn't even match what I currently have, it's a waste. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
It does feel like a waste when all you're doing is just like putting together like menial things that I might as well just let me buy them at that point. Like, who cares? Like, don't make me get all this type of ingredients unless you are allowing me to get something like very special, very cool, very particular to it, or unless crafting makes sense for the setting of the game, like shit, like Last of Us. In Last of Us, you're kind of scrounging for shit.
Yeah, you are
to be able to build, like to better your weapons or
making
even healing items.
Yeah.
Those that it makes sense. It makes sense on that. On those
light,
settings,
right? Because you're only going to have a couple handfuls of things you can create. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It is purposeful to that particular That does make sense, and it also makes it like when you find a bandage or when you find something else or a piece of cloth, you go, yes, I can now make another one. You know what I mean? So I can store that here. Because which part one of Last of Us was so annoying was the shivs that you would make and they would break and you gotta fucking make another shiv. You know what I mean? It's like fuck. At least I can tell.
Be multi-use.
I say that was something that Last of Us 2 did not have. Like that was addressed in Last of Us. Was like, thank God. You know? So, Jesus. Talk about fucking what do they call that? Fucking improvements. I don't know. Quality of life improvement.
Quality of life improvement. That's the word I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. So not spoilers, but it's not really a spoiler. She just has a knife. She fucking uses a knife. You know, it's like, thank God. You know,
finally in this post-apocalyptic, someone ought to have a knife.
A knife. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay.
They can completely use. Okay, that's perfect. That's great.
It was that desire, right? It's like, oh man, I need to. You know, it's like we just went through a battle. I just bandaged myself up, lost a few bullets, and then you find some stuff, and you're like, okay, thank God, I can restock my little stockpile here.
And it's cool that you could. I got these materials. I can either build myself a med kit that I might need, or I can build
the nail bomb.
What? Yes. Yeah. Exactly. A Molotov or whatever, and I can pick the purpose of the materials that I have. I can pick a purpose for it that is not just. Oh, this materials, this particular item is it's made of, or one of the items that you need to craft it is red fungus, and there's nothing else that needs red fungus. You just need the red fungus for this, so you better have it. And
good luck finding it because it's only in the area where red fungus grows.
Yeah,
and that's
and it's only needed for this particular thing. You know, it's nothing else. So that's a lot of. Actually, that's a lot of some of Horizon, but a lot of fucking Elden Ring was that. It was just, hey, just grab this for this particular thing and nothing else. It's like
I don't know. I found I didn't craft a lot, but I did craft a lot of little items.
You kind of need it for the type of character you were playing also.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was definitely a melee up close. Like I needed to be up close. And so I did have, but like I said, bombs, arrows, and stuff to put onto the blade. You know, electricity, fire, whatever the case may be. Those little things would help. But that was it. You know what I'm saying? That was I remember having just a shitload of fucking items. I'm like, what am I doing with all this?
Why am I carrying all this? Right,
99 of these weeds, and I don't know what to do with them. You know what I mean?
Doesn't it feel like a lot of games are just adding a crafting system just to tick a chat box and say, oh, it includes crafting your weapons or crafting materials, and the crafting is the most boring and mundane thing.
Yeah, I would definitely say Ubisoft games have that, because after seeing the Skull and Bones presentation, that was actually a part of the presentation, and you can craft your own blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I can only imagine this is unique. The levels of crap that you'll be picking up just to put together a fucking musket or some shit.
Right. And why is it that it feels like it needs to have that? You know, that's my problem. Just leave it for the type of games that will need it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Elden Ring is a phenomenal game, and the crafting on it has absolutely alpha zero reason for me on it. I get it. Arrows, you need to make arrows. I get that. But
do you think that it's a thing that is attached to open worlds exclusively? Like if game company A is now set to make an open world game, it's like, well, we have to include crafting, because if we don't, that's the first thing they're gonna fucking check off and go, oh, you can't even fucking craft in this game. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say that I don't think it's exclusive to open worlds. However, if it's an open world, I feel like it needs maybe it needs is a strong word. It's going to have it. Like
it's an expectation. The expectation is one that you would have,
exactly. And maybe that's not like, I don't feel it needs to be a requirement of it. Maybe that could be modified a little bit to make it less tedious. Like not everything needs to be scrounge and put together. Or if you're gonna do that I'm fine. If they want to do that, that's fine. But then make it something interesting, like you said, like we were discussing on The Witcher. Like make it dynamic. Make it, what if I, hell, fucking, oh my god, a Dead Rising. Right. Although they kind of went overboard with the later chapters, but it was cool just to grab pieces that you could just put together and make some cool weird shit weapon. It was like, make it interesting on that aspect. Make it be something cool and original, rather than, well, if you want to have darts, you need to make sure that you grab a certain amount of, I don't know, plastic clays or needles, whatever. It's just have many of the, and it needs to be this particular type. That is the only reason you're gonna need to grab this is to build this particular item and nothing else. Because that shit gets boring. That shit gets it feels like unnecessary work.
Yeah.
And I don't think every open world needs it.
I agree. I don't think they need it, but I think at some point we have to look at it and go, okay, as long as it's not intrusive, as long as it become like a major, unless of course, like you said, you're a fucking alchemist, it's gonna be fucking required. But
yeah,
outside of that,
then they make it cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I want to add to that. Then make it so that it makes sense the way you're using it as an alchemist. You're mixing, you're like fucking stirring, you're putting. Don't make it a press X and you see like a bar going to, or a circle going to, and that's it. And you crafted it. It's like, no, make me craft it. Make me do things to put it together. If I am playing an alchemist. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
No. I mean, that's make it exactly. Maybe they'll make it something that's. And I can almost argue and say that, Elden Ring, yes, there's crafting, but it wasn't intrusive. It didn't really require you to do it. There were so many abilities that you can get that can easily forego the need to craft anything. You know what I mean? It's like
well, then why have it?
I could have, because it's another option. You know what I mean? It's like if it's, I can't say Elden Ring did it poorly. I know of other games that probably did it significantly poor. But I would definitely say that, let's say for instance, I use it again for arrows and stuff like that. Well, maybe you don't use it. You just go and do some sort of magic along with your melee or whatever. And now you have your long range thing, but it's just magic at this point. I mean, it's just the same thing at that point, right? You're just finding a different way of doing those. Instead of using bombs, you're using magic to do explosions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's ways around that. So long as it's not intrusive. But I think with Elden Ring, it was a clear option, and for anybody who like for instance, Cyberpunk, where there is a traits and stuff that you can do to become this master crafter that creates all these little things enhancements that you can put to your body, while me being the hacker / pistolera had no choice but to fucking buy or steal the shit. And when you're buying or stealing it, you're using credits and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like I collected so much fucking crafting material, but I never did anything with it because I never even put a point towards crafting. It just wasn't wasn't what I was role playing. So but maybe that's what it is, right? It's like maybe it's just there is a section of the gamer group, if you will, that that they dig that, you know what I mean? And it's like to have a role playing game, a massive open world role playing game and not have crafting would yes, it's a box that you have that's checked, but at the same time you're like, if you don't check it, you are literally shunning all these people who love to craft. You know what I mean? So
maybe dude, maybe make it a little bit more interesting than just, I collected item A plus item B, I press a button, it magically appears, whatever, expertly made. One way that I will do crafting more interesting will be, hey, maybe the more I craft, the better I get at the craft. Like I'm not constantly making like
material.
Perfect. It requires less material because I'm being more efficient with it. Maybe I'm getting some sort of progression, and as I know more, I discover new things that I can build, that I can make.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shit,
I think that will make it more interesting. That I just so happen to know how to make potions all the time perfectly, no problem, and or items or weapons or whatever. I think that, or whoever, if you're bringing it back to town to have a smith put it together for you, maybe that person could actually progress its trade and make you better things the more you bring, the more crap you bring them to, to make. And that will make it cool, because now that's part of a progression that you don't need to make it mandatory, but I'm sure it'll please a lot.
You know what will please a lot of folks
that like to craft,
such as myself? The ability to, because crafting material generally is worthless. What you craft is worth something, and then you can actually use it, sell it, whatever you want to do. But the material in a lot of games generally has no value.
Right.
That's annoying, because then, as someone like me who is a little bit of OCD and sees this menu full of a bunch of fucking items I don't fucking need, and I'm not crafting, well, hey, give me something to do with it. Maybe sure, it's not going to be nowhere near the value of the sum of its parts when you actually craft whatever item, but at least you get some value out of it. Just say, hey, the sword you can create will be valued at 500 if you create it and sell it, but you don't have the sword, you just have the material. So each piece, these 3 pieces that you got to put together, they're worth 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. At least I got something out of it, and I can actually use the crafting material if I don't want to craft. Hey, for instance, shit, I need to get this thing and whatever, and I need to buy it. I don't have enough coins. But I have a bajillion fucking crafting items that are completely valueless. You know what I mean? It's like, well, let me use that to counteract that. You know what I mean? It's just, well,
let me sell the items if I'm not planning on using them for crafting.
Instead, you have to go and craft items to then sell them. And it's like, oh, come on. That's So how about that? That's a happy medium. I'm not a crafter into not too much, right? Into games, but if I do, or if I'm not into it, then at least give me an option to do something with it outside of dropping it. You know what I mean? Just dropping the item. Like, I don't need this shit.
Crafting to me is not just pressing the X button and seeing.
And yes, make it more dynamic. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Make it much more dynamic. I am curious for you to play Last of Us 2. Again, not that Last of Us has a big crafting system like that, but I'm curious for you to play, because man, did they make that shit fucking dynamic. And really just,
and it was already good.
Yeah,
the first one was already good. I was already fine with it, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. By the way, I did just remember that Chaos was mentioning that he was having to hunt down specific robotic dinosaurs because he was looking for a specific item so that he can craft a specific thing. You lost me there. If I got to grind for shit, nope, I'm out.
Oh my God, that is so annoying. Yeah, and when you have to, it just, hey, if you enjoy it, that's wonderful. You're gonna love it. Like he was telling me, hey, I love shooting small pieces of these robots to get their part, and that's cool. And I do happen to think it is interesting, to do it that way. It's a little tedious for me. I find myself sometimes just like wishing that it wasn't this low, but I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna deny that I see the allure. I see the allure of because now at least you have an idea what you're getting, like and how to get it, and it's not just some random fucking drop that there's a percentage that it might drop or not. Like if you want a specific item from one of these robotic animals, then you better be shooting at that part and hope that you're hitting that part.
Yeah.
And if you dislodge that part, then you're getting it 100%. So that's okay, but it's annoying because now you have to like hunt for the specific areas where those are, and again, something that Far Cry did. Well, in Far Cry, a lot of the crafting, Ubisoft game, a lot of the crafting of stuff, like if you wanted to like better weapons and shit, you'd actually need it to go to specific areas where specific animals will spawn, and you gotta hunt. And I don't know, that's again, it's just assuming that I want to spend an inordinate amount of time in your world when all I want to do is just get to the story.
Yeah,
and be done with it.
I can definitely agree. All right, guys. Well, this was actually, I'm going to say, this was actually a very fascinating conversation about a gameplay element that I don't think we actually ever really dove deep into. And I like that. Well, I want to keep some of these things. I feel like we should we should have a list of this so we can kind of go back to at any point, because it was actually a lot of fun. And there's a lot of elements you just don't think about until you actually air it out and you just go, you know what really grinds my gears, So yeah.
Double jump. Let's talk about the
fucking double jump and why games don't have it, and blah,
why
blah,
games
blah.
don't have it, but at the same time, is it fucking realistic? Like, come on, like,
it's
can you really double jump?
So unrealistic. And let me tell you, and you know this now, thanks to Mrs. Dream Twister playing It Takes Two. The art of the double jump. Is a definite art behind it that we take for granted. You know what I mean? Like, we just know, but it's not because again, like my wife, she was playing the game and It Takes Two, and she's like, how are they jumping in midair? Like,
double jump, double jump to them is double clicking. You just gotta do it real fast. Click, click.
I'm like, no, you gotta give a little oomph. You gotta. What is it?
Got a rhythm.
That's right, oh man. So anyway, I look forward to future conversations. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's show. As always, if you have not already, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off this week, saying, "He who laughs crafts, laughs longest."
He who laughs
laughs longest.
I love it. I love it.
Mr. Dream Twister, take us home.
Well, speaking of games where you craft, I can't believe we went through the entire show. We didn't mention that No Man's Sky is getting yet another expansion, and it's because getting another expansion for No Man's Sky is no longer news.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's something that just happens every quarter at this point.
It's just there. It's like, someone please send help, Sean Perry. I think he might be scarred for life.
You and I do have this game. What do you have? I assume you have it on PC, right?
I do have it on PC.
Okay, so I don't know if it's crossplay. But I assume there's an update eventually coming for that. But anyway,
I think
it might be crossplay, and if it's not, let's be real, it's coming. But I'd say this is a perfect game to revisit as a duo, if you will. As folks just jump in and just say, all right, let's see what's there, because now we can definitely see each other and hang out and stuff like that. There's hubs where people are just chilling.
Yes.
I'm curious. What do you think? We should probably do that, right?
I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea. No Man's Sky is a game that it's one of those games that it never grabs me fully. What I do want it to grab me. Like I do want it.
I feel like I'm being left out. Yeah.
That world feels like amazing. Like that things you could do now, and it keeps getting better and better and better. And so yeah. If you have something in mind, well, let's talk first. Let's find out that we can actually do.
We have Crossbite, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, since we do own it, I mean, at this point, it's like, why not take advantage, jump on, and see. Because I did, not to extend any longer, but I did jump on, and I was like, okay, I see what it is, and it's interesting, but I was having trouble getting off of my planet. I think is what it was, and the starting planet, and it's like, okay,
get annoying.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. GG!